Breaking news: Philippines stuns Asia. U.S. missiles roll in amid rising China tensions. It was a scene that really captured the world's attention. As the gray dawn broke over the Philippine archipelago, a convoy of American military trucks rumbled through a coastal air base, their cargo hidden beneath heavy tarps. Soldiers moved swiftly, eyes alert, while helicopters hovered and journalists snapped photos from behind cordons. The message was clear. Change had arrived, and it had arrived in the form of American firepower. The delivery wasn't just a shipment of equipment, it was a statement. For decades, the Philippines balanced carefully between its giant neighbor, China, and its former colonial power, the United States. Today, it had made a choice. The arrival of American missiles on Philippine soil marks one of the most dramatic military developments in the region in years. As news of the deployment spread, social media just exploded with reactions. Some Filipinos cheered, seeing hope for safer shores. Others expressed worry, fearing the arrival of missiles could make the country a target. But above all, it was impossible to ignore. The balance of power in Asia had just shifted and, well, the world was watching. The pace of the American missile deployment was breathtaking. Only days after talks between Manila and Washington, cargo planes landed in the dead of night with advanced missile systems. Their arrival was public, sending a clear message to both friends and adversaries. This move shows not just military readiness, but political will. The arrival signals to China and the world that the U.S. stands by its allies. The American commitment is now more than words. It's hardware on the ground. The deployment comes after a series of tense incidents in the South China Sea. For months, Philippine and Chinese vessels have clashed near disputed reefs and shoals. Water cannons, laser pointers, and ramming tactics have marked a dangerous new phase in the long-running territorial dispute. These confrontations are not just about rocks in the ocean. The South China Sea is a busy waterway, rich in fish and believed to hold vast reserves of oil and gas. Control over these waters means economic power and military advantage. China's creation of artificial islands and military bases has alarmed its neighbors, especially the Philippines. Filipino fishermen have been caught in the middle. They report harassment by Chinese patrols, boarded boats, and lost livelihoods. The Philippine Coast Guard, outgunned and outnumbered, has tried to protect its citizens but often finds itself pushed back by larger Chinese ships. The growing frequency of these incidents pushed Manila to seek stronger support. The arrival of American missiles is a direct response to these provocations. It signals a new phase in the dispute, one where the Philippines is no longer content to rely on diplomacy alone. The United States delivered some of its most advanced missile systems to the Philippines. Among the arrivals were the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMARS, and components of the Tomahawk cruise missile platform. These weapons are not just symbols. They dramatically increase the Philippines' ability to defend its shores. HIMARS can fire precision-guided rockets over 300 kilometers. Tomahawks, capable of striking targets up to 1,600 kilometers away, allow the Philippines to reach far beyond its own borders if necessary. The systems are mobile, hard to detect, and difficult to counter. They can be quickly moved to new locations, keeping adversaries guessing. These deployments are possible under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, signed in 2014. EDCA allows American forces to rotate through Philippine bases, store equipment, and build infrastructure, all without permanent American bases. For the Philippines, it means access to cutting-edge technology and training. The missiles have been positioned at key locations, close to disputed waters but far enough from major cities to reduce risk to civilians. This careful placement shows a desire to deter, not provoke, while making clear that the Philippines is ready to defend its claims. For the first time in decades, the Philippines has a credible deterrent against aggression. With modern missiles on its soil, Manila can now threaten to strike back at any hostile force approaching its territory or harassing its ships. This new capability changes calculations in Beijing and across the region. Deterrence is not just about having weapons, it's about convincing potential aggressors that using force will bring unacceptable costs. The U.S. missile deployment aims to do just that. By raising the stakes, Manila hopes to reduce the risk of further confrontations and protect its sovereignty. This shift also has broader implications for regional security. Neighboring countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia have their own disputes with China, and they will be watching to see if the new missiles help the Philippines push back against bullying tactics. However, having missiles is not the same as being ready to use them. Training, maintenance, and integration with broader defense plans are all needed. The Philippines is now on a new path, one that requires serious investment in both people and technology. Official reactions came quickly. In Manila, the government called the deployment necessary to protect national interests. President Marcos Jr. declared, "We will not be intimidated. We act to defend our people and our future." Many Filipinos voiced support on social media. The U.S. praised the Philippines' courage and reaffirmed its commitment under the Mutual Defense Treaty. China condemned the move, warning of serious consequences. Other Southeast Asian countries reacted cautiously, some welcoming the move, others worried about rising tensions. The missile deployment is only one piece of a larger effort to modernize Philippine defenses. In recent years, the government has invested in new ships, jets, and radar systems. Joint exercises with the U.S., like the annual Balikatan drills, have grown in size and complexity, training Filipino troops in advanced tactics. Technology transfer is a major benefit of the U.S. alliance. American experts are working with their Philippine counterparts to improve everything from cyber defense to logistics. This partnership helps the Philippines close the gap with more advanced militaries in the region, especially as China's forces grow ever more sophisticated. Modernizing the armed forces is a long-term task. Corruption, bureaucracy, and budget constraints have slowed progress in the past. But the urgency created by Chinese pressure has focused minds in Manila. The military is now getting the resources and the political support. It needs to become a modern, fighting force. America's involvement brings more than weapons. It offers intelligence, training, and a promise of support if conflict breaks out. For the Philippines, this partnership is a lifeline in a dangerous neighborhood. The Philippines' location makes it one of the most valuable pieces of real estate in Asia. It sits at the crossroads of major shipping lanes. Its islands guard the gateway to the South China Sea, a region through which trillions of dollars in trade pass every year. For the U.S., having access to bases in the Philippines is a strategic asset. It allows American forces to respond quickly to crises, support allies, and project power in the region. For China, the missile deployment is a direct challenge to its ambition to dominate these waters. Manila also plays a crucial role in the regional security web. Its alliance with the U.S. is now stronger than it has been in decades. But this new strength comes with responsibility. The Philippines must reassure its neighbors that it seeks stability, not escalation. In the coming years, how Manila manages its geography and alliances will shape the future of Asia. The Philippines holds the keys to both deterrence and dialogue in this vital region. With new missiles come new risks. The Philippines must now strike a delicate balance, showing strength to deter aggression while avoiding actions that could spark a wider conflict. Diplomacy remains essential. Manila continues to call for peaceful resolution of disputes and respect for international law. The risk of miscalculation is real. A single incident at sea or a misunderstanding between forces could quickly spiral out of control. That's why both the U.S. and the Philippines are investing in crisis communication channels and protocols to prevent accidental escalation. At the same time, the Philippines faces internal debates. Some worry that closer ties with the U.S. could make the country a target in any conflict between Washington and Beijing. Others argue that only by showing resolve can Manila protect its people and its future. As Asia's security landscape evolves, the Philippines stands at a crossroads. Its leaders must weigh every move carefully, balancing deterrence with diplomacy and national pride with the need for peace. The world is now watching the Philippines like never before. With American missiles on its soil, Manila has become a central player in Asia's security drama. Its choices will have ripple effects far beyond its own shores, shaping the future of the region for years to come. Opportunities abound. The Philippines can use its new strength to push for a fairer, rules-based order in the South China Sea. Closer military and economic ties with the U.S. and other allies could bring jobs, investment, and technology. But risks remain. The more Manila asserts itself, the more likely it is to face pushback from China. Navigating this new reality will require smart leadership, unity at home, and careful diplomacy abroad. In this moment of uncertainty, one thing is clear. The Philippines is no longer a bystander in Asia's great power competition. It has found its voice, and the world is listening.